Om Shri Sai Ram, offering my most humble and loving salutations at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagwan, Sri Satya Sai Baba. Dear brothers and sisters, it gives me a pleasure again to continue with our beautiful divine journey, the story of our avatar, Bhagwan Sri Ram and Bhagwan Sri Sai. Let's start this evening with our prayer and we'll continue with our journey of conversation. So I request all of you to please join us. O Lord, take my love and let it flow in fullness of devotion to Thee. O Lord, take my hands and let them work incessantly for Thee. O Lord, take my soul and let it be merged in one with Thee. O Lord, take my mind and thoughts and let them be in tune with Thee. O Lord, take my everything and let me be an instrument to work for Thee. Om Shri Sai Ram. Ramayana, one of the most beautiful depicted document of an avatar. Our story was little interrupted, I should say, or diverted with Ram Gita given to Hanuman. And we'll recapitulate and we reach the story where Hanuman is in Lanka. He had met Vibhishan, who guided him further towards Ashok Vatika, where Ravan kept Mother Sita. And Hanuman, as directed by Vibhishan, reaches Ashok Vatika. And now the scene opens for us today, where Hanuman is looking at the Vatika and everybody is sitting there and trying to identify Mother Sita. It is a beauty because Hanuman has not seen Mother Sita. So he has to make a very intelligent assessment that amongst all the ladies there in the Vatika, who could be Mother Sita? So when he looks at a lady sitting under the tree, that gives him a feeling that that should be Mother Sita. And why does he do that is a very beautiful description. And for that, let me welcome my brother Ranganath Raju. Sai Ram, brother.
Sai Ram, brother.
Welcome, Raju. So I was continuing with the story now, Raju, that
Sai Ram,
Hanumanji has reached Vatika. And now we are at the spot when Hanuman looks at Mother Sita from far, and he's kind of making up mind that that should be Mother Sita. And I believe all the signs and symbols are still in Sri Lanka, present day Sri Lanka. And they even have a very beautiful mandir made there. And there is some markers. Some people say that what we see here is the footprint of Hanumanji. So there are a lot of things which are there, but the spot where Mother Sita was kept is still beautifully highlighted in Sri Lanka. So we are taking back 20,000 years. We are going back to relive those moments when Hanuman must have sat little different, distant from that, and peeped into the Vatika to see and identify Mother. So there they say that he's watching Mother from far, and then he realizes that that should be Mother Sita. And the way he describes, Raju, your first opening thoughts about Hanumanji and
Yes.
his approach. Yeah.
Yes, brother. So there is one discourse in which Swami beautifully talks. He says, it seems first when he saw, he felt probably this is Sri Rama himself sitting in the form of a woman. So
So
for a
sweet.
brief moment, that thought crossed his mind, and he was struck because now you have to look at the mindset in which, I mean, just taking the liberty of analyzing this character from the point of view of explanation. We have to look at the mindset of the character, the circumstances that he was in. So here was Hanuman, and Swami beautifully writes in Ramakatha. He has gone around mansion to mansion, inch and inch he has searched. He is completely tired, he is exhausted, not found a trace of Sita, and he realizes what a folly he had done. Swami writes it so beautifully that he realizes that in the excitement of Vibhishana telling him that Sita is in Lanka, he forgets to ask him where she is. And as a consequence, he ends up searching the entire Lanka. Now he gives up, he goes back to Vibhishana, and even before Vibhishana could finish the answer, he runs back. Now he is wondering why did he miss this, because Swami beautifully describes a valley, so that's why probably he reassures himself that you would have missed. And it is at that point of time he is seeing Sita for the first time in his life, and this brief thought passing his mind was not a insignificant thought. And slowly his eyes are set on her. Swami writes, the exact sentence Swami uses is, uh, there she saw a woman sitting under a tree, weak and worn through want of food and sleep. She has not slept, she has not eaten, and yet Hanuman feels that it is actually Rama sitting in the form of a woman.
See, I have captured one small, the expression which Hanuman gives, and let me flash that. He says, this is in the Prabhamev tamodasta upakshinam ivama pavagam vedimi paramrishtam shantam agni shikhamiva. Her effulgence seemed like light covered with smog, the fire that is cooled by the water. She appears to be doused fire of yajna. It is so beautiful. I think the descriptiveness, that the purity of Mother Sita is described. Otherwise in a human parlance we would say somebody sitting in a despondency or depression. Here it describes her as a doused fire of yajna. That she has that effulgent, but it looks like as if it is, the fire element is mellowed down. It's a very beautiful aspect, because there is also an analogy which talks about the mother as a goddess, as is the origin of fire herself. So she represents the fire. That's why fire can never touch Mother Sita. And here Hanuman presents it like that she is a yajna fire. So I find that very interesting, the way he looks at her. And Bhagwan also has said that, that Hanuman's first impression was that she's like a tapaswini sitting there. So imagine the poetic, and of course the factor of how a devotee looks at it, how a godly person looks at things. So here he says that she's a tapaswini sitting and contemplating and lost in her own contemplative thoughts, and that's how Hanuman describes Mother Sita. And imagine surrounded by all the Rakshasis and everybody. So
Yes,
last
brother.
time
So
we also looked at that, yeah.
no, I was only just adding a small bit. It is as much as it is a story of Hanuman searching for Sita, I think it is also an equally learning opportunity for each one of us. It's a very brief encounter where he saw Sita for the first time, and yet, unlike Ravana, unlike Rakshasas, the thoughts that crossed his mind are very different. They speak of tapas, they speak of fire, they speak of lightness, they speak of purity, which is actually, as Swami says, this world is your own reflection. This is actually the reflection, these words are the reflection of Hanuman's character. And that's what I think very subtly it is being indicated, that we should also be feeling the same when you look at strangers. So in some sense what you see is a reflection of your own character. I think Rama
Certainly,
is telling each
certainly.
one of us.
Raju, as we move forward, I would like the viewers also to keep in mind that Hanuman ji's journey of life is a journey of a sadhaka, and Hanuman ji has played this role to perfection. So as we go ahead, it will be beautiful and for our benefit that we look at him as our ideal to learn from. So we can see how a sadhaka is moving and how a sadhaka is supposed to move. So even if you slip, you have to rise and move like Hanuman. And that is the beauty I would like people to keep in mind. So let us continue the journey. And Hanuman is watching him, and all these thoughts are coming to Hanuman. And that is where there is some kind of chaos, and people are announcing as if somebody important is walking in, and that was Ravan. Ravan enters the scene, and it is described in Ramayana in a couple of places that whenever he would walk, he would not walk alone. There will be always
Yeah.
people, dancers in the front with band and nadswaram and all that paraphernalia around Ravan. So Ravan would, like, it was like a showing that Ravan is walking. So he was not an ordinary king or somebody walking around. So his coming and going was always a fanfare. So here in Ashok Vatika, when Ravan enters, there is a lot of noise, lot of chaos, and there is band and dancers and all that, which leads Ravan to Ashok Vatika, and he heads towards Mother Sita. The important point to note is that he has even his wife accompanying him at this point of time. So Ravan comes to Mother Sita, and now Hanuman is watching Mother Sita and Ravan interaction, and he could make out because Hanuman had already been to the palaces, so he knows, he has a flavor of Ravan's lifestyle and what Ravan could be. So he's kind of anxious. He's not sure what to expect, and then he watches Sita. So can you describe
Let's
to
just.
us, Raju? Yeah, go for it.
I was sorry. I was only just saying that how, like Swami would say that he is the perfect director. I mean, he is the Jagannatak Sutradhari. Had I mean, few minutes back we made a mention of Hanuman forgetting to ask in the excitement Vibhishana. Now let's just rewind. Imagine at that point of time, Hanuman had asked Vibhishana, and Vibhishana had told him that she is in Ashoka Vatika. Now Hanuman would have actually come straight and would have spoken to Sita, and he would have never got an opportunity to assess what was Ravana's behavior towards Sita. Ramachandra timed it so perfectly. Imagine Hanuman enters the scene right at a moment when Ravana is scheduled to arrive. It can't be a coincidence. I mean, even though at an apparent level, it appears to be a trick of a mind, the trick of excitement that Hanuman forgot to ask Vibhishana. But if you see at a 40,000 level, 60,000 level, this appears to be Ramachandra sitting far in the caves of Rishyamukha and pulling the strings of each of the minds. Hanuman forgetting, Vibhishana forgetting to express, then Hanuman getting tired, rushing back. All this so perfectly timed so that Hanuman enters and the other side comes Ravana. Along with all this cavalcade, you can imagine the character. For the first time, he's looking at the pomp and gaiety of this monstrous being who is known for picking up others' wives. His pomp and show, and he's look at the audacity. He's actually coming with his wives to ask someone to be his wife.
Raju,
Such a
one thing is
character,
important.
and he's
Yeah, as you
yeah.
mentioned,
Sorry,
I'm,
I was
I'm,
just
I'm
saying.
getting a thought. I should. No, no, it's fine. I was just thinking when you said this, I'm getting another thought is that we should also keep in mind that all of them are doing their leelas. And since you pointed it out, it becomes
Yes.
very imperative to highlight that we will see how they are acknowledging each other's leelas and how they are complementing each other and how they are obeying each other's leelas. They're following it up. So when it is mother's time, she would also play the Leela. When it is Ram's, he will do it. But none of them takes the ownership, but everybody others starts acknowledging that it is your wish, it is your drama. So it is beautiful that how each other will acknowledge. So since you have pointed it out, I thought let's highlight it, and as we go in our discussions, it'll help people to give that credit to respective people. Okay, so let's continue with the Sita with Ravan.
Yeah, and Swami describes, he says it was Ravana, evidently, for he pleaded before Sita, prayed to her that she might offer to love him. He tried to extract a promise by threats of cruel punishment. Hanuman heard him exhort those around him to inflict pain and injury on her. That frail, feeble woman did not even raise her eyes toward Ravana, even once during all the tirade. She only said, looking down, "Fool, vicious fellow, Rama alone has rights over me, no other than Rama has any. I shall reduce this body to ashes in the flames of sorrow at separation from him. I shall never stray from my resolve. Believe in this and beware." And Ravana, stung by disappointment and anger at the discomfiture, became even more violent in his speech. He gave her a month's respite to think over and accede. The cavalcade and the maids with the plates accompanied him out of the gate. He was furious. I mean, he lost his temper. He was in the heat of his day, pouring out abuses on Sita. And here is our man Hanuman watching all this. Now I'm sure, brother, you explain. You would have
No, here,
you can
yeah,
imagine that person boiling.
but it is interesting, that
No,
it
no,
should
go on, go on.
happen because it's the time. This is the time when Hanuman hears this dialogue, and Ravan gives an ultimatum to Mother Sita that you have a month to go or 2 months to go, kind of. 1 minute, I think Brother Jagdish has joined us, so I will invite him also. Sai Ram, Brother Jagdish.
Sai Ram. Sai Ram, brother.
Uh, So Jagdish, we
Saram,
are
brother.
continuing the story, so you can jump in, right?
Certainly,
So
brother.
yeah. So what happens here is like Hanuman is watching Mother Sita's interaction with Ravan. I would like to highlight few things, Raju, and which you all can take it up further. One, Sita never looks at Ravan. That is a one beautiful point, which later on I was reading Anand Ramayan, and there is a dialogue, a discussion between Mother Kekai and Sita. Whereas Mother Kekai asked Sita, "How was Ravan?" She said, "Mother, I have not seen him." So she said,
Wow.
"But you stayed there, you must have seen something." He said, "No, I only saw his feet." So she said, "Okay, draw the feet." And Sita draws his feet. This shows me many things. This tells you that obviously befitting Ram's Ardhangini, you don't expect anything less from Sita. That the definition of pativrata and the purity is beyond our comprehension also. So Sita not looking up to a man is can't be imagined that what does it entail. And here was Mother Sita who tells that I have only seen his feet when she stayed for 10 months, in which every day Ravan would come and bug her. And Ravan, Sita never looked at him. There's another version which somebody explained that if Sita would have looked at him, probably Ravan would have been turned into ash.
Go on.
Instead of, because she was fire in herself. So that is another version of looking at it. But out of compassion, she never looked at him. But she spoke to him compassionately like a mother. That's what I gathered from reading and listening, and it's fantastic. So in this scene, Sita picks up a grain, a grass, what do you call it, a string of grass, and she stares at the grass and talks. I would like you all to give your thoughts on that. What does it entail, and you know, what does it mean? Was it just a distraction or what? And the beauty was that grass was like as if a wall in between Sita and others, so nobody could come close to her from that perspective. And she spoke to him only with looking at the grass. And the tone which has been mentioned, I'm sure all of you can chip in, is that initially her tone was motherly. She was very compassionate towards Ravan, trying to make him understand, trying to make him realize his mistake. And later on, she gets firm. And there's a kind of, I won't call it a curse, but there is a very bold statement which says, Ravan, check your ways, otherwise your own deed will turn the consequence on you. So something like in that term, right? So let me leave this portion and allow you all to, jump in and share your thoughts on this portion of the scene. Ravan and Sita mother. Yes.
Yes, brother. So I would like to go first here. So, in fact, the phrase which Valmiki Maharshi uses here, he says, "Trunamantaratah kritva." Okay, means that she has taken a grass and she has it in between Ravana and herself. So, like you rightly pointed out, there are many facets to this, many ways in which you can look at it. Um, Also want to highlight here in the process that Rama and Sita follow dharma exactly alike. They are so similarly to follow her maryada as in the situation that she has been in. So it is her maryada to not talk to a parapurusha without having a curtain or without having um, a wall in between. Okay, so that was the maryada that was followed in those days. So even the antapura naris, they never used to come out. So even if you have to go and speak to them, they will be behind a curtain and then they will speak. It is for a very spiritual reason that they do this, because you know uh, to not give any kind of so to choose my words carefully, to not give any kind of ideas to any other person, right? To keep their chastity and to keep their sammanam without any harm to it, right? So for that reason they used to do this. Okay, it's a very spiritual context in which they did this, and that was the pratha in those days, and that she followed completely. She also, being the maryada that Rama follows, she also followed that maryada. That is number one. Number two, Ravana, she compared him to a trina, so to grass. It's like tuchh hai, you are like nothing. Okay, this is
Blade.
highlighted in a
You're like a
number of.
blade of grass.
Yes, you are like a blade of grass. You will be swayed even by a small breeze that comes. Okay, forget Rama and the might that he is. Okay, to highlight that, she uses one more phrase. She says, um, uh, so she uses this exactly. She says that Rama is like the elephant, and you are like uh, uh, and you are like the rabbit, which is basically very very small, and it doesn't have any existence in front of a elephant, which is great in terms of size and also in its buddhi. Okay, tvam nicha shashavat smritaha is what she says. So shasha is a rabbit. Okay, tvam nichaha shashavat smritaha, she says. So you are like a rabbit, okay, in front of Rama. And she also gives other examples. You are like a serpent, and Ramaha Garudo Mahan, he says. So Rama is like that great Garuda who will come and finish you off. There is no doubt about it. Wait for your time, or mend your ways. These are the two things she says very clearly, right? So Raju brother, or Bhaiya.
Yeah.
Raju, you want to
So,
add something?
but just to, it's a very beautifully Brother Jagdish described. In fact, I was just trying to get that exact discourse where Swami was saying one beautiful point. I think before we come here, I think we should also, which Swami talks in the in 1996 discourse, 1996 discourse, where he's saying, so before I'm sorry, I'm just going back one thought back so that we have it covered. That Hanuman is, Swami says, Hanuman feels that the fact that he is not able to find Sita is actually a reflection of a flaw in his devotion to Rama. No, he was so alert. Swami says he was so alert that since he took time, he realized that he's doing something wrong. and he says he took Rama's name, and that's when things fell in place. He sought Vibhishana's advice, came back, and he is hearing, even as Sita is talking, Swami says the first word that Sita utters is Rama's name. That is it's like she is reflecting in some sense Hanuman's mind. Like yes, she is acting, she is putting up a role as someone who is being taken away by Ravana, but at the same time, it's like as if Swami is talking aloud your thoughts, like that. So she takes up the first word as Rama, and then she goes on to Swami says, it seems that alerted, shocked Hanuman that oh my God, here is this lady talking the first word as Rama, so she is surely Sita. Why I'm saying that is she is, if you look very closely, if you read between the lines, Swami takes all the effort to portray to us that Sita is well aware of her role. Sita is perfectly in control of the situation, and when she is using the blade of grass, Swami describes in one of the discourse, and in fact, even as we go through Ram Katha, we find that blade of the grass. He says in the discourse, it seems it is the only incident which is known to Sita, Rama, and now to Hanuman, because Rama tells Hanuman that if she asks you to narrate any instance where nobody else is privy to, talk of the instance where I have taken a blade of grass and converted into a missile and blinded the crow when it tried to harm Sita's feet. Now she is picking up exactly that blade of grass and she is showing Ravana. Yes, one side Ravana is being compared to blade of grass, but other side Hanuman is being given a message that hey, I know you are there. It is as it is. He's getting all those confirmations as from Hanuman says, oh my God, he's struck that why should she could have picked up a strand of cloth, she could have picked up even as they say a leaf which is basically given as the final rites for the final rites of a dead body, she could have done, but yet not all those. She picks up a blade of grass and she is comparing Ravana to this blade of grass, indirectly also telling Hanuman, I'm confirming that yes, I kind of understand your presence very indirectly. And then, as we know, as Brother Jagdish beautifully described, uh, all the descriptions that she has used, and finally, there is one line which Swami says that she tells Ravana that if Rama wants, he has converted the blade of grass into missile to hunt the Rakshasas, and you will also be not spared. And that further
See
infuriates
that
Ravana.
yeah.
Yes, sorry,
No,
go
does
on.
she tell to Ravan? But I don't know. I thought that she tells to what do you call Hanuman. That when Ram could
Hanuman.
do that, why is he not telling me? Yeah, that he tells later on. Yeah,
Comes later. Correct.
Yes. So
yeah,
he
that I think he later on he
in
talks to
the
Hanuman.
few, yes, no, but in the discourse he says that means she is threatening Ravana
Messaging
that
is
he
yeah.
is not even worthy. Yes, and that further infuriates Ravana, and we know what happened after that.
See this part. There is another beautiful learning. I believe when Ravan is pressurizing Sita through these models, it seems there is a scene in which Ravan gets aggressive towards Sita because Sita is not giving him any kind of leeway. And in that aggression, Ravan moves ahead as if to hit Sita physically. When Hanumanji is watching this from far, he feels that it is his duty to jump in. But as he's preparing to jump, Mandodari, the wife of Ravan, holds him back. And this scene is very beautiful. Now visualize it like Ravan is charging towards Sita and Hanuman says, let me go now. How can he touch mother? And that at that very moment, Mandodari holds Ravan and pulls him back. And she controls the situation. And what I find it more interesting is the response of Hanuman in this situation. The Hanuman, it seems, relaxes and laughs to himself. And it is very beautifully narrated that Hanuman laughs and he says, "Oh Lord, so this is how you are protecting mother." And
Yes,
I
yeah.
thought that I'm supposed to do something here. So, that immediate sense of, I would say, when Swami talks about constant integrated awareness a devotee must have 24/7, I think Hanumanji is a very beautiful example of that. The moment he saw that, the first thought which Hanuman gets is, "Oh Ram, this is how you are protecting mother." And here I thought I am supposed to do something. So I'm not supposed to do anything and just enjoy because he's already taken care of. And then we notice that to protect from Ravan, he has nobody else other than Mandodari herself who is at the guard. And to serve Sita, he has nobody other than Vibhishan's wife and daughters. So one queen is protecting, another queen and princess are serving. That is how Ram has already organized the things. So there is nothing to really, do. In fact, if you look at it, so he acknowledges Ram's Leela. He says, "Ram, you have already done it. So thank you very much." But he has to play his role, so he continues the journey. And from there, the next beauty is Hanuman takes a Sukshma roop. They say he goes into Sukshma body, and he Sukshma can be, I'm sure you or Jagdish and all can describe it better, but Sukshma has got two meaning. One is the Sukshma Sharira, which is a subtle body. One is also the miniature form of Hanuman, miniature form, because Hanuman had that powers to do that. So he takes that smaller form and he jumps into the tree, onto the tree under which Mother Sita is sitting. So he listens from there now. So the next scene, if Hanuman is that Hanumanji is sitting on top of the tree and preparing himself to interact with mother. And that is where you have the Trijata and Sarma, the wife and daughter, Sarma and Trijata, wife and daughter of Vibhishan, who come to Mother Sita. Once Ravan leaves, they come and they come to thinking that they should pacify Mother Sita because Ravan has been not good to her. And there, I'm sure Raju, you can talk about the dream which Trijata mentions to Mother Sita. And this is the point when she gives little hope to Sita and he says, "Mother, I had a dream." So why don't you tell about the dream?
Yes, brother. And it so we are watching Hanuman now. We are having Hanuman watching this scene, and just to read Swami's Ramakatha, the sequence Swami puts it so beautifully. Now Ravana has left, and now Sita looks up into the sky and says, "Rama, has not compassion yet entered your heart? Why have you condemned me to this torture? When am I to be freed?" And she burst into weeping. It is at that point of time Trijata opens up, who is deeply attached to lotus feet of Rama. She opens up and tells her, along with Sarama and Ajata. Swami gives the name of Sarama is the wife of Vibhishana, Ajata is the elder daughter, Trijata the younger daughter. So the younger daughter is talking to Sita and her sister and her
I
mother
didn't know that
about the dream
Vibhishan
that
had
she
three
had.
daughters.
She
No,
says,
I didn't know. I didn't know that
"Yes, in
Vibhishan had
fact,
three
I was
daughters.
surprised."
I got
Oh,
to read
okay.
that Vibhishan's eldest daughter was named Kala.
Yes. Uh, Two, three
Oh,
versions of Kala. Yes.
in fact,
Yeah.
he, he has also son. Son, he has the Neela. Son was Neela.
Okay. So she have Sarma was wife, Trijata,
Yes,
Kala, Trijata, and one more daughter was there.
Ajata,
Ajata.
Ajata. Okay, Ajata.
Ajata, and Neela Sura.
Mhm.
The son
And
Neelasura was the favorite of Ram.
all of them were serving Sita.
Yes.
All of them were helping Sita in a way.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
So beautiful. Yeah, Raju, please continue. Sorry.
yes. So she tells her the dream. Says a monkey entered Lanka, slaughtered the demons, and set the city on fire. Ravana had no clothes on. He was riding a donkey of all animals and moving south very fast. His His head was shaven close and his arms were severed from his body. Vibhishana was crowned emperor of Lanka. Throughout the length and breadth of the land, Rama's name was resounding. Then Rama sent for Sita. Sisters of the Demon clan, take note, I never get dreams. I haven't seen any before. So if I dream at all, know it certainly that it has to come true. It will happen just as in the dream. Moreover, the realization of the dream won't take long. Take heed to my words. She is telling as if it's a prophecy. She is so certain that it is not a dream, but it was a vision that was given. And
Correct.
because I'm just thrilled looking at the way Swami writes. Sita sends up a prayer and immediately comes the answer, even without a, a thrice delay. Comes the answer. Rama is responding, but now he's responding in the form of Trijata, and that is what makes Hanuman realize that, oh my God, I am actually sent here not to get Sita's address, but to witness the all-enveloping love of Sri Rama. I think it is also to each of us to realize that when you begin to look for hand of God, you will end up seeing hand of God in everything. Hanuman is actually trying to look for Rama's presence, and he's feeling it. Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
Raju, I'll give you another approach to look at this story. There is also a very beautiful correlation story there, which says that when Hanuman is listening to this, Hanumanji thinks that I have not been instructed by Ram to burn down Lanka. How will that happen?
Yeah, correct. Yes.
See
Yes,
the
sorry, I
beauty.
forgot.
I don't know, the writers, they are amazing. Like how they have mentioned it, and Hanumanji feels that he does everything with the instruction of Ram. His instruction was very clear: find out about Sita and report back. In nutshell, was that, and which Jambavant also, before he flies off, Jambavant reminds him and reinstates that you have to go check out Mother Sita and come back and report the status. That's all his job was. So now, if you look at it, there's a very beautiful thing. When Hanuman listens to it, he says, "Okay, so I'm supposed to burn. I don't know how because I have not been instructed. So what is Ram your plan?" So there's a thought which passes through Hanuman, and he leaves it at that. So there comes that's how it's interpreted. Is a Leela of Mother Sita now, because Hanuman's job was almost over, because he has seen Sita. He's convinced that Mother Lord Ram has already taken care of Mother. She's comfortable now. She is just anxious because of the separation, which is natural. So, so he feels that now I should just acknowledge Mother Sita and then depart. And that is where he is listening from top, and this thought hits Hanuman. And when Trijata and Sarsa they leave Sita alone, in that moment Hanuman starts chant Ram, and it seems he sings the whole Ramayana, describing whole Ramayana, Ram's childhood, his growing up, his marriage, up to the point when he meets Hanuman. Till there he narrates. So Sita is wondering, like, who is this person? Where is this sound coming from? And then they say that Mother Sita looks up towards the sound, and he sees an effulgence there. And they have described it as like hundreds of suns together. And Jagdish, we are talking about that day, right? That was a description which matches Rudra's description.
Correct. Correct. So
So
in fact,
can you
Hanuman's color
highlight?
being red.
Can you highlight?
Yes. So Hanuman's color being red, right? So he's seen as a pingakshaha. So the one who has red eyes. Okay. You will see a very similar pingakshaha description of Rudra also. For example, if you see in the Mahanyasam, he says Kala Brahmaranjana Dyutinibham Vyavritta Pingekshanam. So Pingekshanam there means red eyes. Okay. So similarly, when Hanuman is referred to as in multiple places, he is referred to as Pingakshaha, the one with red eyes. Okay, so it's very clear right from there, that he is the Rudravataram, which has come here, and he is here to save mother. And first of all, he has brought Rama's news. And once he is there, Shiva is supposed to be Mangala Swarupa. Once he is there, what else will happen? Mangalam only. There is a series of Mangalam coming up. That he is the predecessor for all the. When he is there, all auspiciousness will follow. So that is the indication that that mother gets. Okay. In fact, before coming here, right? So I would like to highlight one small thing, which you will see as a thread in the whole of Ramayana. Once the Vanaras start, right? um, the Vanaras, they have been commissioned by Sugriva to go around the globe, find Mother Sita. East people go, west people go, north people go, and this is the south party. Okay. And Sugriva is actually very certain. He says, Hanuman yatra adhishtata nan gatir nan yatha, he says. So means where Hanuman is there, when Hanuman is the adhishtata, who is the adhishtana over there, who is the leader over there, there is no other gati but success. You will certainly get success there, is what he says. Sugriva is very confident about that. And this south battalion, they go to various places, and they first go to many places, and they are very hungry, famished. They don't get water or food anywhere. They enter a cave. In that cave, they find Swayam Prabha. She is a yogini. And in that place also, they're very hungry. They have not eaten for months together. Okay. Sugriva gives them 1 month time, but it's already 2 months past, and they have not eaten anything. So there they say, okay, this is our end, so let's sing Ramakatha. And they start singing the Ram Katha. So say they start with Raja Dasharathas Shriman Ratha Kunjara Vajinaha, etc. So they start with Dasharatha, how Dasharatha had 4 sons, how those 4 sons got married to the daughters of Mithila, and so on, and whatever story has happened till then. And then suddenly help comes. Swayam Prabha is, oh, you are Rama's servant. So wonderful, come. And she, and then they go further ahead, further ahead, further ahead, and then he transports them to the sea. Here also, they are now lost. So this is a sea now. Who will cross this ocean now? Now what? Right? And it suddenly sets down upon them that sinks down upon them that it's again a dead end. And what do they do? They are in despair, and they again sing the Rama. Sairam, can't hear.
Yeah, now it's clear.
So I was saying that they are transported to the ocean, and even there, they are in despair. They are at a dead end, and therefore they don't know what to do. Again, they sing the Rama. And Sampati, in that, catches a keyword. Oh, did you say Jatayu? He said the Jatayu in the whole Rama, and then he comes.
Jagdish, I'm not able to listen to you properly. Raju, can you hear him clearly?
No, I think Jagdish, the connection is loose or it is going off and on. Some
Oh, is it okay?
See, now it's okay.
Is
Suddenly
it
you're
all right now?
getting, I think you sit closer a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, this is almost is quite close to me, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I was, is it fine now?
Yes. Now it's okay.
Okay. So
yeah, now
even at Sampati, they get Sampati's help that way by singing Ramakatha. They go further, and Hanuman, okay, he with Sampati's word, he flies, and there he sees Mainaka. What does he do? He again sings Ramakatha. And Mainaka is already there to help, of course. Then Mainaka is also very happy. In fact, for Mainaka's help to Rama's servant, Indra gives Mainaka a boon. So just a small help, even if it is, nothing. Did Mainaka really help Hanuman? Probably no. It was more of an obstruction. But then for that will, for that, Sadudesham that he had in his heart, Indra gives Mainaka a boon. He says, you are blessed. I won't cut your wings anymore, and you will be remembered for times forever. You know. And further, when he goes to Surasa, Again, it's a problem that he sees that is coming, and he sings Ramakatha. Okay, so this Ramakatha has been protecting the Vanaras and Hanuman especially throughout. Okay, that you see as a thread which is always there. So this, I think, is a very important
Yes.
lesson for us here, that when we are in troubles, okay, we should sing Ramakatha, or we should sing Sai Ramakatha. Okay, that is a that is like the arrow of Rama. Okay, in
Antidote.
fact, uh, yes. So in fact, Hanuman, before he starts for Lanka, he says, look at his humility there. He says, यथा राघव निर्मुक्तो शरश्वसन विक्रमः गच्छेत् तद्वद् गमिष्यामि लंकां रावणपालिताम्. Okay, so which means, okay, यथा राघव निर्मुक्तो, I will go to Lanka as an arrow that has been, fired by Rama. Okay, yatha raghava nirmukto
Awesome.
sharaha shvasana vikramah. So it has its own vikramam, meaning its own. So it is unparalleled. That's the bhavam that he is trying to convey, right? Sharashvasana vikramah gachet. Okay, like the arrow of Rama goes, like that I am going to go to Lanka. By saying this, Rama's arrow has a particular speciality. If you see in the whole of Balakanda, everywhere that Rama fights, his arrow doesn't go waste. He fires an arrow, the arrow does its job, comes back into his Akshay Tuniram. You will see that in all the cases, when even when he goes to this,
Wasn't wasn't that Rama's pledge that he will only fire once? If he fires with the intention to kill, that arrow will do the job and come
will
back.
do.
He will not
Correct.
repeat it. That's what. So I wish that this TV people make the serials. They should understand this. That Rama did not fight for long. He had
No,
to just use one arrow and finish the job. So there was nothing like fight going on with Ram. When he Ram got up, it was only one fire. That's it, and everything was done. So unfortunate, yeah.
yeah, I think they dramatize a little too much, but yeah, but the shastras don't lie, so we have to rely on these books. Yeah. So then he goes back, and then the arrow of Rama, it doesn't do just one job, it does all the jobs that has been assigned to it, and it comes back. So very true to what Hanuman mentioned. He goes to Lanka, he does not just one job, but he does everything together. It comes back. Because if you look at, I think I'll be taking too many deviations if I go into detail there. But if you look at Hanuman's thought process, right, it is a case study. It is for us to look at how Hanuman is thinking about each of these aspects. For example, to find Mother Sita, he goes to the Ashokavanam, and there he says, "Oh, this there is a river here, because Mother Sita is a she will follow her dharma, and it is dawn, it is early morning. She will very pakka come here. It's very sure that she will come here to do her sandhya." Okay, and notice here that in in our dharma, everybody, it's not just people who are initiated into Gayatri that give argyam. Anybody and everybody should give argyam to Surya Narayan in the morning, and therefore he is very sure that mother will come here. That is the strategy he uses. So that is, those small things are very very important to see how Hanuman searches for mother there. Okay, and even when he's sitting on top of the tree, right, and he sees all the Trijata Sapna Vrittantam and all. Acha, in the Trijata Sapna Vrittantam, wanted to mention one important thing. What they talk about there is called the Shakuna Shastra. Okay, the Shakuna, or these are premonitions, right? So many premonitions occur to us. When something bad is about to occur, we often feel intuitively that, oh, something is not right, something is going to happen. So in that, so if you focus a little more, it even expresses itself as dreams and so on. And here, in the dream, what she says is that Ravana is in a Gomaya Hrada, so a pond full of dung, cow dung. Okay, he's neck deep into that. That is number one that she gets. That's premonition number one. It is supposed to be very bad. It indicates that Ravana is going to his doom. Number two, she says that he is wearing a mundas. He is drinking oil. That is premonition number two. That is also supposed to be a very bad shakunam. Number three, she sees him wearing a red colored Karavira Fool Kamala. The Karaviram is the Karavira Fool. Okay, I don't know how to say it otherwise. So Karaviram. So it's a reddish flower that you get. So he's wearing a garland of that. Number four,
Clean
his
shaven.
head has been tonsured, right? Yeah, clean head. Number five, he's sitting on a donkey and going south. So all of these, right? So she sees this for Ravana, for Indrajit, and for many other Kumbhakarna, etc., the main Rakshasas, Prahasta, etc., all the main Rakshasas. On the other side of the coin, what are the Shubha Shakunas that she sees is she sees Rama on a white elephant sitting on Airavata, actually, a four tusked white
Yes.
elephant. Huh. He's seen sitting in the sky with white clothes. Okay, and he's holding a beautiful dhanush in his hand, and beside him there is Mother Sita. That is Shubha Shakuna number one. Shubha Shakuna number two, she sees him as with that same white garland, white clothes, and with all gold ornaments and all. She with Mother Sita, he's sitting in the Pushpaka Vimanam and going north. Okay, so these are various Shubha Shakunas that she sees. Okay, so just wanted to highlight here the kind of how Valmiki Maharshi is presenting the whole episode, right? After the Sapna Vrittantam, this will be my last point to cover a series of thoughts, right? um, she says so what in fact he says is that Hanuman, he's now sitting on top of the Shimshapa Vriksha where Mother Sita is there, right? So he also thinks, as to how should I approach. So look at the situation over there. The situation is that Mother Sita has been firstly threatened by Ravana. Secondly, all the Rakshasis who were there, Ravana tells them that you convince her and that she will agree to what I say, and he goes after being stopped by Mandodari, right? So all these Rakshasis also, they use very very harsh language, and they say we are going to eat you for breakfast. Bring that madhu, they say. We will have you right now, and we will tell Ravana that she just died and we ate her. So all these kind of threatening, all torture that you can think about, Mother faced very bravely. She faced. Okay, so I'm telling you all this. These are gory detail, I accept, but I am telling you this just to paint the mental picture of Mother Sita. Just think about a lady who is lost, who has given so much for her husband, alone in that particular situation, being brainwashed by so many people. Is it not such a does it not move our hearts? It is, whenever I read that predicament of Mother, my eyes go wet, actually. I can't really tolerate. She's been subject to so many things.
Okay, Jagdish, I'll give you a spin here. Let's continue
uh,
the story and then you will see the spin which has come because of that story. And let me cover that till there, then it'll be interesting to tell that part. So now we have seen that Mother Sita has, interacted with Ravan, and Hanuman has come and Hanuman has started singing. And that is where the point we hear Hanuman is talking about Ram in detail, and which Sita has started talking to him. And then Hanuman gives her the story of the crow, and all that happens right here. It seems he is up and Sita is down. Then Sita says, I want to see you. Come, show me yourself, because I want to be sure who I'm talking to. And that is the time when Hanuman jumps down. And he comes down to Mother Sita, and he stands in front of her, and she looks at him in a very majestic way. But there comes another question to Sita, and I feel it's a beautiful journey, because one has to understand that they are following a lok maryada. So Mother Sita has to be careful, and she has to depict that part, that all of us must also follow through that. So she qualifies him and she says, how do I get convinced that you are not a Rakshasa come to tease me or to manipulate things here? And that is where Hanuman starts giving different descriptions about Ram. And then she says, describe Ram and Lakshman to me if you have met them. So
Hmm.
he tells about, and that is where the beauty of it is that he will start talking about Ram's description. He narrates, and Swami has not touched too much on this part. He has just touched upon it and left. But if Valmiki Ramayana and others, they go on to describe. And what I find it intriguing was that only a devotee can look at Lord in such a way. I have tried my level best to focus on Swami and I could never see him completely. In fact, one day Bhagwan also joked and he said, nobody has seen Krishna fully. So we were like, why? Why didn't they see him? Because he used to walk around freely. Why can't they see him fully? And Swami very, mischievously looked at him and said, he was so beautiful that whichever part of Krishna people looked, they got stuck with that part. So if they looked at his hair, they only saw his hair and they couldn't move forward. Somebody who saw his eyes, they kept only looking at his eyes, they didn't go forward. Hence, nobody was able to see Krishna at one time fully. So
Beautiful.
after listening to this, I started looking at Swami from top to bottom. I said, Swami, I'm looking at you from top to bottom. But when I started closing my eyes to visualize him, I had a tough time. I had a big challenge because each time he would look different. Either his complexion would become different. Sometimes I find his face was turning different. Sometimes I find his face oval, sometimes squarish. I was in mess. But now when I read Hanuman's description of Bhagwan Ram, it is beautiful. I'll give you certain highlights. I'm sure Jagdish and Raju, you can read this, and because there's a very beautiful description. But Hanuman starts off by telling about the lineage of Ram and all that, and then he comes down to the physical chinnas, the signs on Ram and Lakshman. Couple of things he says like Lakshman is of golden texture,
Yes.
but Ram is black, darkish,
Dark.
सांवला है. Ram सांवला है. So dark in color and he's goldish. And then he starts describing Ram, how his eyes are, how his hair is, and he gives proportion, which I hear Swami also mentioned that Ram was extremely handsome from that comparative analysis, and his body was very proportionate. So they have today in the fashion shows they calculate the forehead size and this size should be similar, and the arm size and the your thighs should be similar. Those kind of thing. So here we hear Ram was exact proportions, and Bhagwan acknowledged that Ram was perfectly fine. But look at the depth in which Hanuman has gone, and Raju, you can mention that story. And Hanuman tells Sita that, Mother,
Yes, yes.
I'll give you one example of that. He says, Ram has 4 stripes under his feet. Imagine the extent he goes. And he gives the size of his finger, size of his thumb. He goes on to tell where the mole is, how thick and how long and tall. It's crazy. And that is like, you wonder like how can anybody observe so much? Can you imagine looking at Swami's feet underneath? Even though we got a chance to look also, but I don't think we tried to, and even if we tried, we failed many times. Raju, tell us about that beautiful experience.
Yes. So, but in fact, as you mentioned, another one also strikes me. I'll just complete those two. So there were
Yes, please.
two seniors of mine who were telling me very lovingly their own experience. So they would, I'm sure each of us have those beautiful moments when, as a batch, or probably you're selected in drama and as a drama troupe or as a music troupe, you are given various opportunities. Swami would call you inside interview room, and we get to sit around the throne, and the boy who is the friend would do Path Seva. So this is one of those convocation drama preparation time, and this music troupe was being called in to present the songs, and these two brothers, quite senior to me, so they were the lead singers. So then they would get to do Pad Seva. And Swami would usually engage during those times, those moments. He would talk to the actors, he would talk to the music director, and he would also talk to others as to how the story is coming up, shaping up. Well, these two were, kind of, they had their own sweet time. So they got into a challenge one day. So both of them had got opportunities of doing path seva on alternate day. Then they got into a challenge. During the conversation, one said Swami has 3 lines on each feet. So those 3 lines on each feet. Another one said, no, it's only 2 lines. So, and eventually, they argued and they challenge, they took it like they challenge each other. Whoever is right, they will get to do. So it's like the prize is you get to sit one extra session in the Path Seva position. So every boy would know that he has to give space to another one the next day. But whoever wins this challenge, he has to leave out his space and allow the winner to sit in instead of him. So this was the challenge, and then the session began. Swami was lost in asking about the actors, how they are acting, how the dialogues are coming up. But here, parallelly, he was. So these boys were doing Pad Seva, and you know how Swami is fit. You imagine this to be fit. You would keep it like this, and you get to do Pad Seva. You can actually put your fingers under the feet and then press. So that day, unusually, Swami lifted both his legs like this, and he showed them.
Okay.
He's literally showing them. So these two boys were, because they had the challenge, they were actually peering at Swami's feet, and to their amazement and shock, the lines, there were not two, there were not three, there were 4 lines, and
देखो.
both of them were looking at each other because both of them are wrong now. So Swami looks at them and says, "Not two, not three, but 4," and they were stunned because this was apparently a small conversation they had in room, and here was Swami acknowledging that conversation in the entry room, and so beautifully. Why this becomes so important is, without we realizing, we look at Hanuman and kind of uh, look up to him, and kind of admire the intensity with which he observed Rama. But here was Lord teaching those young children, many of us, even without realizing, he using the beauty of the form, he taught us to be so involved with Lord Himself. There was one more session where Swami had called few of us for the interview, and I realized that one of the brothers who was, I kind of pitied him because during the entire session where Swami was talking in the bhajan hall, it was not in the interview room. It was just after the bhajans, and where Swami had not gone into a room, but he called for some upcoming program. So I was kind of feeling pity that one of the boys had not got. Swami spoke quite sometimes, some 40-45 minutes. That one of the brothers had not got even a single opportunity to utter a word. I was I was kind of feeling bad that he did not even get an opportunity to utter a word. So I wanted to console him. I wanted to tell him, no, next time Swami will speak to you. It apparently looked that Swami is focusing on few boys. So I wanted to console him. And after bhajans, we were going to hostel, and I approached him and I wanted to start the conversation. Brother, don't worry. But to my amazement, he was ecstatic. He was, he was in probably some whichever heaven, if you can number it, a ninth, 10th, 11th, whatever. I found it very strange. I tapped him, what happened? He said, what happened, brother? And he did not want to be disturbed, but I pursued. I wanted to know what is the experience that he had. So I tapped him and asked, "What happened? Arjun, you?" He immediately understood. He said, "No, don't feel bad, brother. I was blissful. I was enjoying that Swami had not spoken a word. I was wondering why is so blissful that Swami had not spoken a word." Then he tells me, when all of you were talking to Swami, Swami was putting his hands on the wheelchair, on the chair. This fellow was holding Swami's thumb, and he was looking, and and he was measuring. So all of us are focused on the conversation while this boy and Swami was playing. So he would keep it like this, and he would want to hold. Then Swami would try to bend. Then he will hold. Then he'll make it straight. Swami will. So simultaneously, as Swami is speaking, here was Swami is playing with him using his thumb, and he was so lost. He was saying, "Oh my God, the thumb is so beautiful. No, it is bigger than mine. He made all the measurements, possible measurements. That is, his the nail, the size is this much. And I was wondering, oh my God, who actually was the luckiest? Was it the ones who got an opportunity to hear him, or is the one who is lost? No word was spoken, but a memory of lifetime was given. And I'm
Yes.
sure when Hanuman says these things, all those thoughts come to our mind that, my God, that is the beauty of the physical form. Come what may, do what may, nothing can ever replace it. The beauty of physical form is only, as
Beautiful.
Swami said in one of the
I would.
discourses, he says, yes, go on. No, I'll just complete
No,
this.
no.
He says, in one of the
Yeah.
beautiful, he says, it is not andam, it is saundaryam. It is the beauty of the inner self. It is not the physical body. Yes, brother, go on.
Wanted to add couple of points. Why is so much description? Why? I mean, we on one side we say physical form is nashva. I mean, it gets destroyed at some point. We should not be too physical, etc., right? But why so much importance to the physical form when it comes to an avatar, right? Is also because it to enable us. So in fact there is a whole shastra which is called the Samudrika Shastra. Okay, it tells you what should be a particular measurement of a particular uh, it defines beauty, by the way. So for something to be beautiful, what should be its measurements and the proportions. Okay, why so much, when the we have to go towards spirituality? Why so much description here? Why is this detail important? It is important because at some point we get to meditate, and we when we meditate, I can totally relate to this brother's experience, that he can totally relate to Swami's thumb. Even if it's the thumb, it is that brahmavastu, it is okay. It is Swami's thumb. So I'm sure that when he sits for his meditation, he can totally relate to that thumb. And similarly, when Hanuman sits down, he can totally relate to the Divyamangala Vigraham of Rama, because he has studied him so closely, so beautifully. Okay, it becomes important for sadhana that way. Therefore, it is important.
Beautiful.
There is after this description, Mother Sita completely trusts Hanuman, and then she makes a statement. She says, one who can visualize the master so well has to be the greatest devotee ever. And she said, if Ram has sent you, that means he has already qualified you to be worthy of coming and talking to me.
Yes.
So you are not only perfect from that aspect, but you are also perfect as a devotee, because you have described Prabhu in such a detailed manner. What a grace, what a beauty. Okay, let's take this story and I'll add into discussion now. So Hanumanji, when he has this discussion and Mother Sita is very happy, Hanuman says, now I must rush, mother, before, I want to go because Lord is worried about you. Both brothers are concerned about you, and I must go back and inform them, and they will come. You don't worry. And mother says that to him that Hanuman, you must go, but I have only 2 months left. And if he doesn't do it in 2 months, then on that last day, because Ravan has given me the deadline, before he touches me or anything, I will destroy myself. So tell him there's a last warning kind of a thing. One story is that. And Hanuman says, mother, okay. And that time Trijata and all are coming back to Sita. So Hanumanji goes off, hops into the tree, and he starts going away. And when Trijata comes, she finds Sita in much relaxed mode. And Sita starts telling them that your dream has come true. That so-called monkey is here already. So the auspicious omens are materializing, manifesting. So she is quite happy. And they also feel, Sarama and Trijata, they feel happy about telling. And they leave again. When Hanuman sees mother is alone, she again comes back. But at that time, there is a beautiful description. See, when you look at Mother Sita also, on one hand, Mother Sita says, I am no different from Ram, right? And we have seen that beautiful shloka which mother tells, that Shakya Lobhyantu, that part which we have already seen, when he tells, I am no different. So imagine mother telling to Hanuman, I am no different from Ram, we are one. And then she gives him all the visions about everything. At that moment, when Hanuman is preparing to leave, what do you see? Sorry, what do you see? You see that Sita starts lamenting. She starts behaving like an ordinary lady. And then she starts even saying that, has Ram forgotten me? Why is he taking so much of time? And then she recalls those stories and tells Hanuman, you said about that, grass which he made Brahmastra. Couldn't he do that to these Rakshasas? He's the same Ravan who could do anything. Can't he do this? So she starts in that tone to Hanuman. And then Hanuman says, Mother, why don't you come with me? And that is a very beautiful dialogue between Hanumanji and Mother Sita. Hanuman goes out loud and emotion. He says, Mother, you sit on me, I'll carry you. And I will instantly connect you with Ram. And my intention is very pure. My intention is, because you are suffering, my master is suffering. I want to remove your suffering, both of yours. So I will take you. And I am capable, mother. And he shows her the bigger roop of her himself, just to justify Sita that he is capable to do all of that. So that she can feel, he feels that Mother Sita should feel comforted. So Hanuman does that drama. Now Hanuman, in a way we can say he's trapped now in Sita's Leela. Because this Hanuman who kept repeating that, Ram, it is you who did this, Ram, it is you who protecting her, Ram, I'm your instruction. Now he says, Sita, look at me, I'm powerful enough to carry you. Now poor Hanuman is trapped. So when I look at this story, I feel like, oh my God, you only trap and you only slap. So now Hanumanji is excited and he says, Mother, look at my form. And he grows himself and says, I am capable, Mother. If you feel I can carry the whole Lanka to, Ram, so don't worry. Then mother starts giving other arguments that, Hanuman, I cannot come with you. How can I touch you and all that? He says, I'm your son. Then mother says, yes, you are my son. You believe I am your son and I believe you are my son. But Loka Maryada, there's a Maryada of Loka. I have to follow that. So I cannot touch you. He says, don't even want to touch me. I'll carry the whole Ashok Vatika. So there is no touch. So Hanuman goes all out in that direction, and then then I am reminded of Bhagwan Baba also in this same context. The moment Hanuman pressurizes Sita in this way, arguments, counter arguments, Sita changes her tone. And then she starts scolding Hanuman. And she says, Hanuman, I thought you are a very dedicated servant of Lord, and you don't do anything without his permission, and you follow Ram obediently and explicitly. Hanuman says, yes, mother, I do. He says, then did he tell you to bring me? And Hanuman falls at his feet and he says, Mother, I'm sorry, my intention was not that. My intention was only to put you together because both of you are suffering. So mother said, so what? Don't you understand that you are supposed to follow Ram? Is he not capable to take me? So then Sita flips. So for your statement, Jagdish, which you said, I said, no, there's another way of looking at it. It is like, I always, Raju, I want to bring you that thought. It is the master himself creates the situations. And here we have seen Mother and Ram are not separate. And their both intention is that all their children, including Hanumanji, must reach that height of oneness. And Hanumanji did follow that. He was explicitly following when he said, Ram, you are the one protecting. Ram, you brought me here. Ram, oh, you, that's how you wanted to take. And suddenly he got trapped and he said, Mother, look at me. I can carry you. I'm capable of. And the moment he did that, Sita scolded him right away. So instant, like Bhagwan also would not wait. When he sees ego, he will slap you right there. And instantly Sita scolds Hanuman. How dare you talk about it like that? Have you forgotten that Ram is capable and all that? He starts, and then he falls at his feet and says, Mother, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that way, but I apologize. And then mother again pacifies him, said, but you know, Maryada, so go and tell him, but go and eat first. So I would like to leave this forum now. Now tell me, Raju, your thoughts on this thought. It's a very beautiful journey when I look at an example of surrender, example of oneness, constant integration, but how a slip happens. And that too, we are talking about Lord Hanuman, and it happened. But on the other hand, we have also seen Lakshman who never fluctuated, where Ram had to retrieve back and say, I'm sorry, brother, I didn't mean that way. Here is a spot, build the cottage. Where Lakshman got touched upon it, that how can I think? But Hanuman here slipped, poor fellow, because he could not see the plight of mother. As Jagdish was saying, I'm getting choked emotional when I read about Sita. See, imagine how much Maya is playing, that imagine now reading, we can feel the emotions. Imagine poor Hanumanji, who is watching this, the plight of mother. And for him not to react is almost impossible. I'm sure if Lakshman was there, he would have killed him. He would not have even thought. So the point is that, how the fluctuation happens and how everybody gets their own version of treatment for not deviating from that focus point, that the doer is God. I'm not the doer. I'm only observer and I've been used. So let it be. Let it be his work. I'm only observer. And this deviation of Hanuman is an excellent learning curve for all of us. I can recall 100 instances when we have deviated, I have deviated. And each time you deviate, you want to slap yourself like, okay, hello, again again I messed up. But I'm sure there are
I think
people who have who have not deviated and who succeeded, where Bhagwan had to retrieve himself. Raju, why don't you jump in for that?
yeah. Uh, Also just to as you said, I mean, it is also poignant lesson for each one of us to reflect what it is to be an instrument in the hand of God, to be bereft of your own likes and dislikes, to be bereft of your own emotions, to be bereft of of your own self, of your
Your
own
own
individual
identity.
identity.
Your own identity.
Yes, he takes you to that level where I mean, if you look at the entire journey, it was only either Rama. We are here talking about Hanuman, and it is either Rama or Sita. Only either of them are capable of teaching Hanuman that important lesson. Who is an epitome of surrender? Who said, "Rama, you are the force, you are everything." In a flip of in a second, he just that Maya. He just lost it. I'm sorry to use the word, but and he said, "Come, I will take you." And Sita immediately corrects him. Probably that was, I think, an instance where Ramachandra wanted Hanuman to learn. I'm sure it is each one of us. Hanuman was given that situation, and that is the greatness of Hanuman. He learned it immediately, and Swami uses the word. He says, Hanuman was rendered dumb by this question, and he never broached the matter again. That again, he says, Hanuman learned it. He learned the lesson. That fluctuating, wavering nature of emotion is now out. He just threw it out. I'm sure, as you said, there are instances where one of our brothers was he was given an appointment by a very well known firm after his studies, and a very good package at that time. So, since this brother gave that letter to Swami, and he said, Swami, this is
Offer
your
letter.
prasad. Yeah, this is the offer letter, and he gave it Swami. This is like an offering. I'm offering it to you, and he bent down to take Vaz Namaskar. As he was bending down in the bhajan hall, Swami was looking all at all the boys, and he's making a comment. Now he forgets Swami. Now he has become a rich man. Such a big offer. Such a apparently that comment, and this boy heard it. He, instead of taking Padmas, he lifted his head, he caught that letter and tried to snatch it from Swami's hand. Others said Swami saying, no, that was only a joke. Like the same like that Hanum Lakshmana, where he tells Rama tells you set up the hermitage there, and Lakshmana, we know what happened. He erupts, he rolls on the ground. Rama has to go and hug him and say that was just a mention. Please don't take it to heart. And here was similar instance. Why I'm saying that is another instance that comes to my mind is I'm sure many of us heard this instance in our UG days. Swami had taken some of the boys to Kodaikanal, and then one of the brothers was giving a speech, and Swami said, and he says, "If Swami, if required, we will give our life to you." Swami said, "I have seen these many." We plugged in, he caught his ear and said, "I have seen these many people who said this dialogue." And he said, "No, Swami, we mean it." And he said, "Then do it." Like Swami is indicating, "Then show it to me." And he was indicating like this up, which means this boy took it literally, said, "Go and jump from the top of Sai Shruti." So he began running towards the step to climb up and jumped out. Swami had literally get up and people caught him back and Swami said, "No, no, that was only an expression. Don't do it." This fellow was ready to jump and die because Swami said it is the absence of individual preferences, the absence of likes and dislikes is like that being hollow, like the reed. So if you do a
Exactly.
comparative analysis of Lakshmana and Hanuman, I was thinking why was in one of the sentences Swami says to quote Swami, he says Lakshmana has become like a rock and he is always observing Ramachandra. So I was wondering why did Swami use the sentence, and it becomes so clear that when you contemplate, meditate, he has literally become a rock with his focus only on Rama, unmoved by the emotions of the world, unmoved by the trials and tribulations. Hanuman, to all the humility and devotion, Hanuman probably at this point of time, he's also that a sadhaka at a very high level, but yet the thought crosses his mind. Why is he wanted to redeem Sita of her sufferings. He wanted to redeem Sita of her tribulations and trials because he felt that he can, in some sense, he is capable of doing it, which also means that Rama is not. I mean, he's not saying Rama is not capable. He's giving his own interpretation that Rama has sent me as an instrument that probably I have to redeem Sita from this, but all the while forgetting the baseline that the instruction was only to go see and inform. And to all this, Sita snaps at him and brings him back, saying that, "Hey, you are an instrument. What is it to be an instrument of God?" And that is how the privilege of proximity was given to Lakshmana,
Right.
and a little reduced proximity comes to Hanuman.
But when you just now what you mentioned is fantastic experiences of those two boys also, who literally remained till that edge, where Bhagwan had to retrieve and say, "I was joking." Otherwise he would have changed the whole sequence of event again.
Mm.
But when I look at Hanuman's story also, if you think of it like when you said "No, again" word is used, he never fluctuated. And in fact, it is proven right after that
Yes.
when he's caught and taken to the court and Ravan instructs that ties tail and burn him. So that is time when again it is mentioned in a very beautiful way. They say Hanuman laughing. He says, "Oh Ram, so this is how you want to burn Lanka." So the statement is made by Hanuman is, "Oh Ram, this is how you have planned to burn Lanka. Now I understand. Otherwise, I had to think of getting a cloth, oil, and all that. Now you have done the job. It is Lanka's oil, Lanka's clothes, and Lanka has to be burnt. So Ram has done everything, and he says, 'Oh Ram, this is how you want it.' And then
One
when he
is burnt
finishes
by his
that,
own karmas, brother.
it's like, so then when he jumps into the water and he comes out, he finds that not even a hair is burnt.
Yeah.
His tail hair is not burnt. And then again he smiles and says, "Okay, mother, so that is your way, Maya. That you did this way, and you have not even allowed one hair of mine to be burnt." So Hanuman did not fluctuate immediately after that because now he understood that that focus has to remain. So if you take that same instance, that's why I said Hanuman is an amazing story of learning, because his apparent faults are not actually his faults. Probably he's there to teach us that as a sadhaka, what are we supposed to do?
Totally,
But his
totally.
follies were also totally in the service of Lord. It was selfless. His slips were also selfless. He didn't slip for his own sake. He was not afraid of himself. His only concern was that my master is not happy.
Yeah.
He is suffering there, and mother is suffering here, so I must unite them. But in that excitement, also there is a slip in the eyes of the master, because the perfection is looking only for perfection. I
Hmm.
find it very intriguing but beautiful how the whole thing is getting synthesized here. You know,
One
Jagdish.
thing just
Hmm.
wanted to add, I think we have called Hanuman too much of a, I mean, he has lot of foresight. This is one thing that I wanted to highlight, because you look at his every activity that he has done. Okay, he never does anything just because Lord has asked him. It doesn't mean, yeah, he's an instrument, but he also knows that fine difference between becoming egoistic and I mean not becoming egoistic, and at the same time being able to use your brain completely to the service of the Lord. Okay, so you see that in multiple. So in fact, to continue a thought which we left a long time back, right, let's say, we go back to the place where he is on top of the tree and he's seeing Mother Sita. There he contemplates that, how should I talk to her so that she he's pacified. I would like you all to recollect, where we left. I was talking about the mental situation of Mother Sita. Talk, I mean, let's they are all divine beings, yes, but in this situation, if you look at it as a human situation, it is a lesson for us to actually learn directly from it. And therefore this point of view, I like this point of view that many pundits also present, and I have also taken from there. Okay, he talks to Mother Sita in a dialect of Sanskrit that is spoken around Bihar, and he very consciously chooses that dialect. That's what the Valmiki Ramayana also says. He very consciously chooses that dialect so that Mother Sita subconsciously also feels comfortable listening to that dialect. Oh, this is something very well known to me. I'm in a familiar place, kind of thing. Okay, he wants to give that comfort to her, not just by the words but also by the dialect, by the tone of his speech. But every small act that he does, he wants that to give, he wants to offer it to them as puja, right? So that's the point of view of Hanuman, if you see there. And then, you know when he says he will take Mother Sita back to Rama, that was also complete dedication. He says, in fact, a very important point there is, mother says, he first, he's still in that small form, in the sukshma form, and he says, mother, I will take you to where Rama is. And mother says, so this is probably your monkey nature. You are such a small person, and you want to take me to Rama. How can you do it? So she kind of instigates that, she gives him a key. And immediately he becomes that, Vishwarupa, and he shows his Maharupa. And then, he is described here as Merumandara Sankasho Vabhau Deeptanala Prabha Agrato Agrato Vyavatastasthe Cha Sitaya Vanarashabha हरिपर्वत संकाशस्ताम्रवक्त्रो महाबलः वज्रदंष्ट्र नखो भीमो वैदेही मिदमब्रवीत्. So and so on. Okay, so in fact he says that he becomes Meru Mandara Sankasha. So Meru Parvatam, Mandara Parvatam are supposed to be, the largest of parvatas, and he becomes that huge. Okay, Hanuman, in a jiffy. Okay, and that too, this siddhi is there, and he wants to use it for Rama Seva. That's his point of view. Okay, and here he thinks further, much further, and he says, okay, now I have seen this Lanka. It is very clear that, Mother Sita has been found. He is now going to go to Rama and inform him. So the next eventuality that is going to follow is the Yuddham. They are going to come here with a big army, and they are going to fight Ravana. That's the eventuality. He foresees that. And he says, okay, so for me to go back and inform them, I also have to prepare one step ahead for the war. And therefore I have to see this Nagari, this Lanka, during day. I have already seen it during night once, but I also have to see the fortification during day, so that when we attack, when we come back with the whole army, the whole plan, the fortification is clear in my mind, and I know where to attack from. Okay, so this is the point of view of Hanuman. He looks like 10 steps ahead, and all in Ramaseva. So just like Swami has told us many times that you should also have bhakti with yukti. So that is signified, symbolized in Hanuman. He's the best of the best devotees that the Lord can have. And um, he's just amazing. The his points of view, his mental process in speaking with mother should be read in the Sundarakanda. One more point here that he says, just like brother was mentioning some time ago. Uh, so there, Mother Sita says, okay, when if Rama has sent you to me, I'm sure that you must be a very great person. Your ability must be very great that Rama has sent you to me. He responds to that and says, okay, I am the least person that Sugriva has in his army. Okay, nahi prakrishtaah preshyante hitare janaha, he says, means prakrishtaah, those people who are real good in what they do, they are not sent as dutas. Only ordinary people are sent as dutas. Okay, matta pratyavarah kaschin nasti Sugriva sannidhau, he says, means there is nobody in Sugriva's army who is less than me. They are vanaras who are either equal to me or better than me. Why does he say this? He says this because, and he also goes on to say that, see, I ekol pat eko eko ekot patena aham. So in fact, in one jump I have crossed over from there to Lanka. And just think about all those vanaras who are much more powerful than me. They will easily do it. So he's telling all this, although it's not true, not completely true. So here he's following the Nabruyat Satyam Apriyam kind of a thing. He wants to give that confidence to Mother
No,
Sita.
Jagdish, that is where we are making the submission
Hmm,
that Hanuman was constantly in that awareness.
totally,
But
yes.
yes, but Sita took him to that extreme where he gave up that
Correct.
because of his love for mother. See, that
Yes.
is where he had to reprimand him that Hanuman, you forgot now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
which means that slip for Hanuman to slip required Mother Sita's crying, her lamenting that, oh Ram, you have abandoned me, I am going to
Yes.
kill myself. So, it is that extreme level when Hanuman had to leave awe. Otherwise, Hanuman was perfectly walking in rhythm, no
Correct,
doubt
correct.
about it. See,
What I
that is
want.
what I find it. That is what we classify. I'm just trying to classify that is a Leela of Mother Sita,
Hmm,
in which you cannot escape Leelas of Mother.
right, right.
Even if you are Hanuman, you are trapped. हमारी तो बात ही नहीं है. No, we are nowhere into consideration
Correct,
at
correct.
all. But look at that. The perfection of Hanuman is so much.
Yeah.
Yet,
No, what I am trying to highlight here, brother, is more the mental process that he went through. Okay,
yeah, of course.
yeah,
See,
because
that's also
Sita,
learning. That's also learning for all of us. That's also learning
correct.
for all of us, right?
So
How
more
we have to
practical,
prepare and
I
serve.
think it's a more practical thing to see how Hanuman thought through this. So that, when we are in such situations, or when we are in any situation in life, this is exactly the way to think. You have to think 10 steps ahead and also follow dharma in each of them. If I have to follow my dharma, how would I do it in those 10 steps, right? So that's the kind of thought process that I want to bring. But yes, you are totally right that Hanuman missed that particular part of he
Okay, I'll tell
misunderstood.
you. I'll give you another thought of mine. See,
Hmm,
look, Hanuman reaches Lanka, and it is a during little Sunday, sun time. It is not night yet. Hanuman prefers to wait for a few hours till it
correct.
gets dark.
Yes.
That's how he plans. So if you look at, the concept of living in now, when you say present, is also exhibited by these people.
Hmm,
So,
totally.
planning 10 step ahead becomes a contradictory statement for avatars, for even Hanuman. because they would plan exactly right now what they have to plan for 10 steps. But every minute they'll keep reevaluating it because that's how the time changes. So when he landed there, he evaluated that situation that now I should wait only at night. I should go to avoid any kind of attraction.
Like a good spy
When he
would.
finish,
Right?
yeah, when he finishes with Mother Sita, he tells Mother that my job is done. Look at the statement which Hanuman makes that Mother, what command I was given, it's done. So I must go back and report to my master because he's eagerly waiting for the news. So he had no plans to go and meet Ravan or kill Akshay Kumar, then burn the Lanka down. No plan was there. So he didn't plan in advance that I should do all of that. His concern was, I have found Mother Sita, I have seen the city, let me fly back. Then what does mother do? She starts crying. And that makes him say, okay, hold on, I'll be there. Then mother says, Hanuman, could you stay for a few days? I want to hear about Ram. That will give me a little comfort. So can you see the Maya which comes so much that
Yeah.
now you have you can say it is like, Dharm Sankat. On one way you have a command of Lord, return back. And then you have another command of the mother who says, Hanuman, stay for a few days and tell me more about Lord.
And in
And now Hanuman is
and in
dancing in the
discourse,
middle.
just adding to your description, in discourse, Swami adds a line saying that Sita tells Hanuman, "Aren't you feeling hungry? Go and have some fruits there." So that's actually,
Yeah.
it's a very clever provocation. The minute he lays his eyes on the fruits, he knew what to be done.
Correct. Correct.
He goes on
So
a
if you look
rampage.
at, yes, very good thought. So now if you look at it, it is Sita only who makes him remember food. Otherwise, we know Hanuman's nature. He never thinks of anything unless it happens. You bring food to him, he'll eat. If you don't give him, he doesn't bother. So now mother says, Hanuman, you must be hungry before you go eat. And that triggers the whole chain of events that we'll handle next week. But look at that, prompting is done by mother.
Yes.
So that is
Yes.
where I'm forced to put that in a category of mother's Maya. It is
Yeah. Yeah.
his drama. It
One
is
thing,
Mother Sita's Leela.
so exactly like what you said, right? When Hanuman goes back to Rama and when he describes the whole sequence of events that happened, right? He clearly tells Rama that I saw mother, and after that she gave me directions of what I should do and how I should do. These are the words that he uses. Okay, so it's very clear that it is her direction, that she is actually playing as the wire puller, and he is just the instrument
Otherwise,
over there.
he would have been scolded, right? Why did you burn Lanka? So he said, I didn't do anything. It was mother's job. He made me do it. So it is like, hello, clarifying boss. Don't scold me. It is, it is so, but there is another statement which, since you mentioned about that part, Raju, you know the statement, Nimit Matra, that statement.
Yes, Nimitta Matra Bhava Savesachi.
Can you tell that what Hanuman tells to Ram? Look at that statement.
Which one, brother? This is Swami.
When
Nimitta Matra
Hanuman
Bhava
says to Ram
Savesachi.
that mother has already done it, you go.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not able to recall.
You know that when Hanuman reaches Ram and he explains the whole thing, and Ram is actually expecting in a physical way that now report, now how should I proceed further? And Hanuman says, Mother, Master, God, I have seen Mother. Actually, she has already destroyed Lanka, she has already killed Ravan, but she has kept it all in the facade so you can be a Nimitta Matra, an excuse to go and shoot an arrow. So you have to
Yes,
just do
yes,
your
yeah.
job. That's what I was telling you that.
Yes, okay, sorry. Yes.
So he
I was only lost
imagine the
in.
control of others. Yes, Raju.
No, just like as much as it is a journey of it's a journey of Hanuman physically. It is also that Hanuman transitioning in some sense. I mean, yes, what he is such an ideal to all of us, that he has transitioned now from being a instrument to being and to a witness. Like other day we were discussing, when you tell, I'm sure all of us have made this statement, telling Swami that Swami, I'm just an instrument in your hand. It is a display of in some sense
Ego.
a sheer ignorance and ego.
Ego.
And so it's exactly like, for example, what brother, I was so awestruck the way in which our discussion was evolving. We have not discussed, and brother Jagdish talks of Hanuman quoting that sentence where he says, I am like the arrow that is sent. Exactly, he says, I am the instrument. Essentially what he's saying is an instrument that is being sent by Rama.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
now you, from that Hanuman, you look at the statement that he makes in the quote, like what you quoted, where he says, "Oh Lord, is this the way you wanted to burn Lanka? Please burn it." Now the absence of Hanuman as an individual is very clear. There, the Hanuman is coming to Lanka as an instrument. Here, Hanuman is absent. Hanuman is gone. He is erased. He is only witness to the flow of events of Rama's Leela, of Rama's prowess. There he was in some sense the bhokta, like the enjoyer of the actions. Here he is a drashta. He is just standing and witnessing the magic of Rama going all around. Even when he sits on the tree, as we discussed, he is wondering, Lord, you have already arranged two queens. I mean, the queen and her three daughters are serving Sita. They're talking about Rama, and I am probably brought here to probably these are very subtle aspects that we're discussing. That that what is it actually to be an instrument? Hanuman went as an arrow, and he comes back and says, "I am actually nothing. I have not done anything. It's actually you." That's what we just, in fact, as brother Jagdish was quoting, it is actually Sita has instructed. You have instructed. The absence, whatever probably the small traces of that individuality are left, probably those are also wiped away. What is it to be
I
an
think I
instrument
love
is,
that. Yes. It
there's a
summarizes.
prayer.
It
I'm sure
summarizes
all
the
of us.
discussion because
Yeah, he says, "Let me be a nameless footnote in your story, O Lord." It's a very famous prayer by one of the rishis. Let me be a nameless footnote. Because that individuality, I'm not there at all. As we were discussing the other day, I'm sure all of us know something or the other about Bharata, Lakshmana, but what about Shatrughna? And what about all his, I'm sure, brother, like that day we discussed, all those wives who have endured so much? Do we know anything at all? It is because they have remained nameless footnotes in the story of God. They have dissolved their identities in the flow of the Lord.
Yeah.
Because all that remains is only Rama and his glory. That's exactly what Hanuman
so
is uh, evolving into.
this thought is very powerful if you look at it. See, I was that day I was looking at it in Guru Granth Sahib. It is written. It is a summation of the teachings of all the 10 gurus. But the name mentioned for guru is Nanak.
Mm.
So if anybody reads from outside, it is Nanak name. It is not X Guru, Y Guru, 10th Guru, nobody. The name
Right.
is Nanak. So rest, everybody is dissolved into Nanak. Similarly, Ramayana, if you look at it, this is also a very beautiful journey that whosoever worked, the name was only Ram. Only Ram. Bharat, Ram. But as you mentioned, Shatrughan is an amazing character. The poor fellow stayed 14 years working for the kingdom. He made the kingdom prosperous, but he was working under the name of Bharat, who was staying under the name of Ram. So nobody even talks, not even one Ramayana Katha I've heard in which somebody would take 5 minutes to describe Shatrughna. And
Anand
that is a
Raman.
very funny. Anand Ramayana mentions it. Anand Ramayana mentions it, yes. But nobody narrators don't take that pain to go through what is Shrutkirti's contribution,
Correct.
how she takes care of the mothers, how she takes care of the whole family and keeps them alive and going. And that is an amazing journey of these people who nobody has even touched upon because they lived under the shadow of Sita and they remained there. And these brothers lived under shadow of Ram and they lived there. So they where big Chakravarti, Shatrughan is, all the wars have been fought by Shatrughan actually.
Yeah.
All the, this yajnas, Ashwamedh yajnas, Ram has done over 200 Ashwamedh yajnas. All are led by Shatrughan, and he has not lost even one. But we don't hear about him. The fact is, the beauty is this. So I think the Sundarkand is an amazing journey of Hanuman reaching that spot. And now we have gone through Hanuman's Ram Katha, and then we see Ram Katha was delivered to him much after all these events have happened. So you can see that Hanumanji had already arrived at these situations. Yet when he sits down as a student, he plays a perfect role of a student in questioning Lord Hanuman. I find it so fascinating. You can learn from Hanuman from different aspects.
Hmm.
Like he can teach you from being a perfect servant to the divine himself. When he would roar in the war, he would be like a ferocious being. But when he would sit at the feet of Ram, he'd be like a most docile, humble, and insignificant servant of Lord.
Correct.
So I think these are phenomenal variations of Hanuman which we are able to see. I'm actually reminded of one story, and I'm sure all of you know it. And I read it. It is like when everything is over, and the whole quotations come to Ram and says, Hanuman has played a very major role in in Ram your this journey. We would like to acknowledge him. So everybody gives proposal as to how they want to acknowledge. They said we will give him some gifts and this and that and all that. And Prabhu Ram says to them, they said, I don't think Hanuman will entertain these things. That is Ram's approach, answer to them. But they insist that I know Rod, but we should anyways acknowledge, like some felicitation should happen to for Hanuman. So then Ram says, okay, do whatever you feel, but I'm warning you. Hanuman is crazy, he will he will not. So they continued the story. And that is where the story ends up when he starts breaking that pearls and all that, and then he follows Sita and he says kumkum. Then he says, what is this kumkum that then Lakshman tells him that, Hanuman, don't you see that she's wearing a kumkum, and that gives her the qualification to be with Ram alone. So Hanuman thinks about it as a, they say he's like a simple vanara. He thinks that small kumkum, and the next day he comes drenched in kumkum. He has like poured kumkum on himself. He's totally that Kesariya roop. And that is why Hanuman is, idols are painted in Kesariya most of the time.
Yeah.
Because he's totally drenched in that Kesariya and he walks in the court. And Bhagwan describes it so beautifully. He said each step Hanuman keeps, like a kilo of Vermont falls. The kumkum keeps falling because he has put on so much kumkum on himself. And he walks on the court, and everybody's looking at him and says, what happened to him? And people laugh at him. Somebody teased him and said, this is what Vanaras do. They can't have any courtesy, they don't have mannerism. So they even tease him. And Ram is looking at him from far. And when he comes closer, then Ram stops him and says, Hanuman, what is this? In fact, Lakshman asks him that, brother, what happened? Why are you doing this? So they think that it must be a Vanara custom because he comes from Vanara clan. So there must be some customary that he is putting on vermilion like that, and he has come. So he says, Hanuman, is it some custom from your culture? The Hanuman says, no, it's not my custom, it is your custom. Then Lakshman says, where is our custom? He said, you only told me yesterday that a small pinch of kumkum, if Sita puts, she gets the right to be with Ram. So if small kumkum can give her that right, I poured the whole kumkum on myself. And he's dancing in that glory. And everybody starts laughing and admiring at the same time. But in this whole gathering, there is Bharat watching him with tears in his eyes. Shatrughan looks at the brother and he says, brother, why are you crying? Everybody is enjoying the scene. But why are you crying? He said, Shatrughan, don't you see what is happening? This Hanuman is a king in his own right. He is the master of Vedas. He has given scriptures. He has composed. He's a composer. He has given Vyakran Shastra. He's a Shiromani, Bhakta Shiromani. He gives like credentials of Hanuman. He says, such a Hanuman is sitting as an ordinary devotee of Lord with only one desire in his heart, how to be close to Ram. He says, if I have, and Bharat makes a statement, he says, if I have an iota of this devotion which Hanuman is depicting, I think my life would be sanctified. That was Bharat's statement. When I read it, it was shaking me, my God. Only Bharat could acknowledge Hanuman from that perspective
Yeah.
because he was also evolved in that way.
Yes.
But look at that caliber. He says that Hanuman is sitting like an ordinary being as if nothing else matters to his life except the proximity of his master.
Yeah.
Don't you see? It is an epitome of devotion sitting there right now. There's nothing beyond it. And Bharat was crying. What a beautiful story. And look who identified Bharat. So I find that Bharat whom Ram said he's my impression. That Bharat who got transformed into Ram himself in 14 years. Only that Bharat could acknowledge the inner feelings of Hanuman from that perspective, while the whole court was laughing at him. Hanumanji, you can fall in love with him over and again and again. It is so beautiful. But that thought that every devotee must dissolve like a camphor in the arti of Lord, I think that is phenomenal. I don't know. Your final words, bro. Please go on.
Raju Vare?
Jagdish, you.
Okay. So,
I think he's yes. You add on.
okay. So, one last thing that I just wanted to mention, right? So, basically, was more like, um, so one technical point before I go into that. So, for the listeners, right? So there are many versions of Ramayana. So please do not get confused that you don't see something in a particular Ramayana and you don't see something somewhere else. So follow one. Each of them has the power to take you to the final destination, that is Rama himself. Okay. With that technical point, I would like to also convey here that Sita is seen in many of the traditions as Adiparashakti herself. Okay, the the ultimate, the Lalitamba that you see, right? So Sita is herself, and Rama in those traditions is also seen as the ultimate Parabrahma Tattva. Okay, who is the consort of the Adiparashakti, the Lalita Parabhattarika, right? So there are many ways in which Ramayana is has been written poetically, uh, in a sadhana way, in more of a, how do you call it, in a tantric. So tantric is not as in bhoot pret mantra pisach and all that. So tantra also means, in a way, it describes how a particular deity should be absorbed, should be propitiated. So that also takes you, worshipping mother Sita and Rama has many ways. Okay, that's what I wanted to mention. But the path that was followed by Hanuman here is pure, is bhakti. Okay, and along with bhakti, he does not allow his ego to prop up anywhere. Okay, these are the two beautiful threads that you will see in all his actions. Okay, he's such a gifted is again a very small word in front of Hanuman, because he's called buddhimatam varishtham. So he's the best among buddhimatas, and but yet he has that vinayam in him. Okay, so these are the two great qualities that I think we should take away from Hanuman. To me, that describes a lot about Hanuman, and those are the qualities that I pray him to bestow upon me and everybody, all the sadhakas also. Okay, with that, brother, I'll give it to you. Please go ahead.
And I just want to close that. Abani brother started the story, and then we went to Bharata story, that where the sages come and they say that let's do our bit in honoring Hanuman, and then how beautifully tells the story where he is called in, and so Rama, out of his compassion, after he said that Hanuman may not like all this, he wanted to give them a last chance. He gets Valmiki, Vasishta, and even Vasishta also gives his bit of advice to all these people, saying that you do not know Hanuman, he will not encourage all this. Then they say, no, let's do our bit. What is there in honoring such a great servant? So all of them are sitting in the court, and as the story, as Swami describes it, Hanuman comes, walks in, and then each one. So that's where all the gifts, all the great boons that Hanuman has received, to be a Chiranjeevi, to be ever young, to be free of any disease, to be a person of body of steel and strength. So all those gifts, one after another. So one sage gets up and uh, blesses him, saying that you will be a Chiranjeevi who will uh, who will not have any death. Hanuman is he's not bothered. He just looks and says, he just nods his head. So it's quite obvious that Hanuman is not very satisfied. Another one, they're wondering what is it. Hanuman, another one gets up and says, "You will have the body of steel, of a body free of all diseases. You will live young." He's not much satisfied. He just nods his head. So they're wondering what else can be given to Hanuman. And finally, one of them, as Vasishtha indicates,
No,
one
no,
of
no.
them gets up and then he blesses him, saying, you will have Ramachandra till the last breath of your life. That is when Hanuman
Beautiful.
loses himself. He begins to jump. He goes and hugs the sage and says, I have been waiting only for this boon. And he goes and hugs Rama, and he goes towards Rama, and Rama comes down and hugs Hanuman. And Vasishtha tells, did I not tell you? All that Hanuman wants is only Rama and Rama and Rama. I think if when Swami tells us that become like Hanuman, I think probably that is what in our lives all that we should be seeking, like from the being the instrument to become drashta. Let us just seek the Lord and Lord alone, with we being the footnotes in between.
That boon was given by Vashisht to Hanuman.
Oh, okay.
And
Yes, yeah,
Hanuman
no.
said, "This is what I wanted." Yes, beautiful.
Sayudyam.
So I guess this is the
Sai.
beauty of Sundarkand, and that is why they say that Sundarkand is the most important in Ramayana to study. And the more and more we are dwelling into it, we are finding so many flavors into it that can't help it. But it is beautiful. So let us pray that Bhagwan gives us the strength and the positioning that we can continue this our little bit of our own sadhana, and everybody gets benefited by that. So thank you, brothers. Sai Ram to everybody, and I
Sai,
request all of you to please feel free to send us your thoughts, your suggestions, and the video will be available on the channel. Thank you. Sai Ram.
Sai
Radha
Ram.
everybody.